Miss Brooks loves books, and I don't. Miss Brooks is our librarian. She loves books a lot. She loves The Runaway Bunny and Babar and Where the Wild Things Are and The Very Hungry Caterpillar. I ask Miss Brooks why she dresses up for reading circle. I want you to get as excited about books as I am, she says. I think Miss Brooks gets a little too excited, and I bet her costumes itch. Halloween means we each have to find a poem to share, but all the books with witches, ghosts, and goblins are checked out. And I hate pumpkins. So I make up a Halloween poem of my own. Eek, a freak. The class looks at me funny. Miss Brooks says, well, it's a start. All year long, Miss Brooks reads us books. Books about dragons and pilgrims and presidents. Books about love and leprechauns, groundhogs even. It's vexing. Then in May, Miss Brooks tells us something truly terrifying. Book Week. You each need to pick a favorite story to share with the class. I want you to wear a costume and tell us all about it. Really show us why you love it, she says. See, it's Book Week. I'll never love a book the way you do, I tell Miss Brooks. Don't be so sure, she says. When I get home, I ask my mother if we can move to a new town. My mother says there's a librarian in every town. I ask if she wants to do my assignment for me. I've already been in the first grade, says my mother. Book Week. Every single day of Book Week, kids share stories about trains and fairies. Then the flower fairy flew out, and cowboys, giddy up, yippee-i-o, and dogs. So he just said, woof. When Miss Brooks asks what I think, I say, too flowery, too furry, too clickety, too yippity. So Miss Brooks fills my bag with more books for me to read with my mom. But I don't like any of them. They're too kissy, too pink, and too silly, I tell my mother. You're as stubborn as a wart, she says. Warts? I want to read a story with warts, I shout. Warts! My mother finds a book called Shrek. Shrek has hairs on his nose, and he snorts. I love that. Can you read it again, I ask? Snort, snort. I love this book. I have to practice the words over and over, but my mother helps. Then we make an ogre costume. I make stick-on warts for the whole class. Snort, snort, snort. When I get to school the next day, I ask Miss Brooks to lend me a hand. See, she's putting the warts on the kids. When I say the word snort, the whole class snorts. I explain why a stubborn, smelly, snorty ogre searching for a revolting bride makes me laugh. Snort, 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 snort. Miss Brooks says she's glad I found a book to love. She says that even ogres like me can find something funny and fantastic and appalling in the library. And that is the slimy truth. That's the story of Miss Brooks Loves Books, and I don't.